Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Now this video is a little bit different to the ones that I've done recently, where I've been talking you through all the new things that I've been up to. Because this video, we're throwing it back where I was actually taking on the IRONMAN World Championships in Hawaii, Kona, and trying to break a world record with comic relief. So yeah, it's weird to reflect on it, but let's get into it. A few of you here might not even know what an Ironman is. So for context, it's a 3.8 kilometre ocean swim, then 180 kilometres of cycling, and then you finish off the day by running a marathon. It's grueling, it's something that less than 1% of the population even attempt to finish. I happened to take on my first full distance Ironman at the Ironman World Championships out in Kona, Hawaii, which is seen as being one of, if not the toughest Ironman to complete. The world record that I was going for was the world record for a double amputee to complete the Ironman World Championship course out in Hawaii. The world record was just under 16.5 hours, and just for context, if you don't finish an Ironman in less than 17 hours, then you're classified as not finishing. I think with the challenge on a whole, there were moments where I was really doubting whether I'd bitten off more than I could chew.
Oh, fucking hell, I'm gonna fall.
Yeah.
You're good. An hour and a bit in, I've got like focus, still like a tiny little rub on my stump. Still a little sore.
And regardless of all the doubts, I was ready to take on the biggest challenge of my life. The first thing I felt when I got off the plane in Hawaii, I just thought, wow, it's hot. Wow, it's humid. Wow, this is a lot already. Equally, as much as, you know, instantly that negative voice was in my head thinking, oh my God, this is really hot and humid. I've not trained in this sort of heat and humidity consistently for the last year. At the same time, I was like, wow, I'm finally in Hawaii, I'm on the island. Well, I remember getting in the water for the first time, going for a recce swim a few days before the race. That for me was so cool because, you know, basically training in UK swimming pools for a year and doing a few open water swims where you're kind of looking down in the open water and you just see darkness. And then it was like, oh yeah, now you're gonna do, you know, just a little shakeout run, a little half an hour run or so. And just before I'd gone out to Hawaii, me and my prosthetist Steve had finally built the new final legs that I was gonna do the race on. And it's because we basically wanted to get my legs and my sockets perfect before making a couple of tweaks which would allow me to change the size of my socket during the race to give me a bit more flexibility because of those conditions. But I went on a half-an-hour run 2 days before the race.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, just been out my last training run and the boa's gone on my run socket.
Yeah, I can see the tiny bit of fraying.
And then that's...
yeah, it'll be inside the device itself.
I take my socket off, look at the back of my socket, it's broke. There's a BOA system, which is, I guess, if you're into triathlon or cycling, you know those sorts of shoes that you can tighten and it's like a little circular thing that you can tighten. That's what a BOA is.
Yeah, so basically you just come back from the run and notice that the BOA on his running socket is snapped. The idea behind the BOA is that if he loses volume on the run, he can tighten it, right, so his leg doesn't get loose in the socket.
That was something that my trainers worried about slightly because my prosthetist Steve wasn't able to join us. I panicked a little bit. I was trying to come across to my team that I was cool, calm and collected, because if I'd started to panic, and obviously everyone else was already nervous, like my trainers weren't sure whether, you know, I was capable of doing this, and Comic Relief had you know, so much effort and time had gone into the project from their side that I think if I'd, you know, seen that break and I'd gone, oh my God, it's broken, what are we gonna do? Everyone would have gone into mass panic. So as much as it didn't go to plan, it was like, okay, that's done. We'll try and figure out a solution to that. But yeah, that was a small bit of panic. My only reason with pursuing this is I like the knowledge that, I like the fit of it. It's felt good so far. Yeah. We've got this foam padding on here, which we haven't got on the other one, which we can put on across the other one. But
we're going to give it a good go to fix it, but this is not what we do.
I can get you on a call with one of my technicians who, I mean, they're the people that do it day in, day out.
Later on that evening, my prosthetist Steve in the UK, the time difference, they managed to find a time to make it work, and he was basically on a Zoom call to them. They were in the hotel in the room with flashlight torches on their heads, Mark and Will, and they were fixing this boa and putting a new string and new boa onto the socket. Next thing you know, Mark and Will turn up and they're like, right, here's your socket, it's got a new boa on it. So there was still a big unknown factor going into race day. It was like, okay, this socket that should be more comfortable for you, it might break and you might have to get to the half marathon point on potentially a broken socket to be able to then change out of it and finish the race on something else.
Hello, mate.
How's it going?
All good indeed, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
When you cross that line, mate, and they shout, Billy, you're an Ironman. I'm telling you, you're going to be in floods. It's going to be a long day, my man.
It is going to be a long, long day.
I want to wish you all the very best. You've got this, my man, seriously. And just to see what you've come from and what you've done and overcome, it's a massive inspiration. So don't fuck it up.
The last 12 months of my life have been leading up to this moment. It's now or never, Bill.
Hello and welcome to the 2024 VinFast Ironman World Championship in beautiful Kailua, Kona, Hawaii.
For me, probably one of the most enjoyable, surreal, cool moments of the whole thing was being in the shallow water just on the beach and hearing all this, you know, the drums, the cannons, and then just seeing these professional men just dart off. The atmosphere, you could really feel it. It was just like this special energy in the air where it was like everyone's about to take on something truly epic here, and I'm here and I'm part of it. Next thing you know, it was my turn to begin. I'm in the swim, giving it everything I've got, and I had a rough idea in my head of, you know, between me and my trainers of how fast I wanted to do the whole thing, and I was aiming to be under an hour and 10, a really good effort. I came out the water and I sort of remember looking at my watch and I could just hear Mark shout, just over an hour and 7, Bill, that's amazing. And you look really good. Everyone kept saying, you look really strong. About 2 minutes into the swim, I got stung by my first jellyfish. The first one was on my hand, and it was a bit sore. And then I got to probably 200 meters from the finish, so I could see land at this point. I knew I was close and I was nearly back. And then I got stung on my shoulder, and it felt like a sea urchin was stuck in my shoulder, like the balls with the spikes on it. It felt like one of those was in my shoulder. It was really painful. And I remember that was the thing that I was most concerned with when I got out of the water. I looked at my trainer, Will, and I was like, how's my shoulder look? And he was like, looks fine, it's a bit red, but everyone's getting stung by jellyfishes, you'll be fine. He said, you'll get 20K into the bike, it'll be gone. It was a bit longer than that, but it did eventually go away, but it was irritating me for a bit, that's for sure. Next up was the bike. It's the longest discipline of all three. I'd never cycled further than 140 kilometers in training. Got onto the bike and you've got a couple hours in, then the sun starts sort of really coming down on you, and mentally one of the hardest things, as well as the conditions and that climb up to Harvey, but it was the heat and the sun. You've got it beating on you all day long. The bike ride took just under 7.5 hours. Anything under 8 was my target. My trainers were hoping for anything under 8.5, so I felt really strong on the bike. I remember getting to to the last sort of 20k of the bike after I'd done the hard climb and I was nearly back. As you're cycling back, you're seeing people, professionals or other people out on their runs. And the stage you see them on the course, they're about halfway through a marathon and they're absolutely destroyed. And just seeing all of their faces and the suffering that is going on in that moment, I'm like, my head had a bit of a wobble on my shoulders for sure. When I saw people running out on the course, I was worried because I'd never run a marathon by itself before. I was scared of actually getting to transition 2, taking my legs off after the bike and realising that my stumps and my legs were in bad shape already. I just didn't want to let anyone down because I was doing this for comic relief and doing this, and so many people were dependent on this being a success and us raising as much money as possible. And that was a factor that was driving me on throughout the whole process. All the work that had gone into getting the sockets right had meant that my legs were in better shape than I thought they were going to be in after having finished the bike. The run was the thing that I knew was going to make or break my day.
Outstanding work.
That's so good, Billy. You're making it look a bit easy.
It's not fucking easy, I'll tell you that for free.
You're smashing it.
The bike took me 7 hours and 27 minutes. But I can't get complacent because now I have to run a full marathon.
Doing a full marathon by itself is relentless and ruthless and hard. At the point that I was starting my marathon, I was about 9 hours into my day. The first kilometre was quite tough, to actually just then get off the bike and just, you've got jelly legs and you're just trying to settle into a run, walk, whatever combination you can manage. And I remember the heat being a factor and just throwing water and ice at every aid station over my head, trying to hydrate as much as possible. But it was the first 10 kilometres of the run actually, they were the easiest 10 kilometres for sure. Not only because it was the first 10 kilometres, but because you're running in town, you got so much support in that section of the course. I had my family, my friends, my trainers, they're all cheering me on, all saying that I was doing really well, I'm ahead of where I needed to be, just keep going, Bill, you've got this. And so many kind people just giving me so much encouragement. I felt so buzzing to be experiencing this. And then you come out of town, out of Kona, and you go on to the Queen K Highway. That was the section of the course, about 10, 11 kilometres in, where I really thought, wow, I could be in trouble here. And it was for a few different factors and a few different reasons. The first one being having to basically pee myself for the first time in the marathon. And that happened a few times. But that was the first time that I'm running along in the aid station. I'm basically pouring water and ice over my head. I'm like, I need to go to the toilet. So I went, had a wee. As I was doing that, just like the sockets were just, when I'm in those aid stations and I was walking through those, just sort of following my process of ice, water, on this occasion taking a wee, I've just realised that, okay, my sockets are sore already, and sore than they've been at any point during a long run. Like, they were sore already, and I was trying to work out why. I don't think, in hindsight, pouring all those fluids over me, potentially some of the sort of water and everything like that could have got into, not into the liners, but into the sockets, and just got into cuts and sores and stuff like that. And at that point, it was struggle city from 12k on. I was on my own, there's hardly anyone there to cheer you apart from when you're at the aid stations, and I'm just running and it's starting to get dark, and I remember mentally that being really challenging.
He's about to go through 22 Ks. It's just hard at that point. He's been out there for hours and hours, and when people crack, that's when they crack.
I'm in uncharted territory right now. I've just passed halfway, and every mile now will be the furthest I've ever run.
I was not gonna stop until I got to that finish line. I would have rather collapsed and not been able to do it than still have another step in me and decided that I didn't want to go further. Like, that wasn't my mindset at that point. I'd come so far and I'd done so much more than so many people had expected me to do, I just knew that I was going to leave all I had, I was going to leave it out on the course, and that for me was what it was all about at that point. It was just like everything you've got, everything that you've been through to get to this point, all of the training, all the hard moments that have gone into this, the days where you didn't want to get up, the days where you didn't want to train, the days where your legs were battered and sore and you questioned why you were even doing this in the first place. Like having those thoughts going through your head, but then deciding, no, this is the day to use all of that. Just as I pulled back into town, seeing my trainer Mark on the corner, and that was really cool, having him cheer me on, saying, come on Bill, you look so strong mate, you've got this, nearly there. Like that, again, it was just like, you know, someone who'd been so involved in my journey, that was so special.
Well, I've just come to the top of Palani, so we're about 2K from the end. Just want to see Bill come up the last hill. And
you got this, brother, it's one more hill. Stay strong.
And here comes Bill now. I can see him. Yeah, just coming over the brow of the hill. And he looks great. He looks absolutely fantastic. Yes, Bill! You're looking great, mate. Really good.
It gives me goosebumps now just thinking about it. And then running back into town, having again that level of noise that after being basically in silence apart from the aid stations where they were cheering me on, but then all that support just comes over you. You realise that I've got a kilometre to go, this is it, I'm nearly there, I'm nearly home. Definitely I was emotional. I'm so surprised that I didn't cry, to be honest. The finish line was such an overwhelming, crazy feeling.
And proving anything is possible. Willy Wonka. 14 hours, 23 minutes, 56 seconds. Willy Wonka, you are an Ironman. Anything is possible. Willy Wonka, you've done it.
14 hours, 23 minutes, 56 seconds. So over 2 hours under the world record. I remember just looking up and then just like going like mad, like celebrating, and just the noise from all the people that cheer me on was just really special and cool. Seeing my family, my friends, my trainers collapsing on the floor, that did not go to plan. Didn't exactly style that one out. Just boom, straight, went for the fence, missed it, on the floor. Oh God, sort of like a bit of a wry smile on my face of like, really? You've just done a full Ironman and broke the world record by 2 hours, but you can't hang on to a fence, you just fall over. But I had nothing left.
I definitely want to pull over to the side and get these sockets off ASAP.
Let's go with that little tennis,
Yeah.
The seats.
Yeah, my legs feel swollen as anything, and it feels like pressure in the socket.
And I remember, like, as soon as you finish, obviously that adrenaline sort of starts to wear off, and I remember my legs just being like pounding in the sockets, where I think because the sockets, my legs had like swollen up a bit, and they, you know, having something tight on you for the 14 and a half hours like sockets, I think my body just needed to like release like the pressure of like the sockets were having on me. So I remember like being desperate when I got in the chair, like, oh, I need to take these sockets off. So I remember like just pulling these sockets off. I sort of like looked down at my liners, and basically my left leg, which is the one that had been really sore for a lot of the run, was basically this grey liner was effectively just red. And so when I say blood, sweat and tears went into it, that it's true. As much as like now I reflect and I'm saying about all the pain and discomfort I was in, honestly, it was completely worth it. I loved it, and I'm so lucky and so proud and so grateful that I can say I'm an Ironman, and that I can say that I took on the Ironman World Championships, and not only did I finish in Kona, but I broke a world record. Kona did a lot for me as an individual. The main thing it did was change the perspective that I have about when I'm doing something hard, you know, how hard is. When you do an Ironman, when you do Kona, or when I did Kona, it makes day-to-day tasks that seem challenging a lot more doable. I think it just serves me so well in my day-to-day life, where hard things, there's a different level you've gone to, and you realise that things that you have been sort of told are hard, they're doable. And I definitely want to be back on that island at some point in the future, whether that's to go back maybe after the Paralympics and compete again, or whether that is just to go and just watch as a spectator. That place holds a special place in my heart. So thank you, Kona, for everything that you taught me about myself, everything that you gave me as an individual, and for the memories that you allowed me and my family to make. We will never forget them. So that's me reflecting on Kona a year after it happened. Honestly, talking about it and sort of going into more detail with you guys, I hope you've really enjoyed that. It's really nice to be able to reflect on these things and these achievements, and it's something that maybe I don't do enough, but yeah, really proud of everything that went into Kona. I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing about it and potentially starting your own journeys, whether that's to Kona or to do anything that you set your mind to. I hope that this is giving you a bit of motivation to take on those challenges that we face in life and to dream big. Thank you for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, bye-bye.